people think that AI is a technical thing. So if I'm not into technical world, then it doesn't, include me. And I'd like to say that it's not just for people who are engineers or computer scientists or studying a technical related field. I encourage everyone coming from basically any field to really understand what AI is, right? Even though AI is a technology, it's being applied across all sectors.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Engatica interview series. I'm your host Anshdeep Kaur, and today we have Christoph Zogby, founder and CEO at Zaka, on the show. We're really glad to have you join us today. Welcome, Christoph.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So before we move ahead, I'll brief you a bit about Engatica. The Engatica interview series is a powerhouse of insights from industry experts from around the globe, a platform that provides latest news on AI, automation, and technologies that will help you grow your business. Come be a part of our community, learn, share, and grow with us. So, Christoph, I have some questions for you here. So, how are you democratizing AI and helping in building a strong AI ecosystem at MENA?
That's interesting. So, the main problem that I found when I got into the field of AI, the main problem I found in the MENA region was lack of proper understanding of the field of AI, right? AI is a very big term. It's an umbrella term. It has been used a lot everywhere. And people have heard of it, but most people don't really understand what AI is and what it really means for them, right? So I realized quickly that education is essential if you want people to start adopting AI, if you want them to implement AI in their projects or in their companies, they need to understand what it is and how they can leverage this technology. And so democratization starts by making sure everyone really understands the technology and knows how to apply it. And so therefore education is very important to do that. And that's what I've been doing in the last 4 or 5 years, not me as only personally, but me throughout my company Zaka, where we deliver training programs to help individuals acquire the market skills ready to work in the field, and to help companies understand how they can leverage AI and data for their businesses and their products.
Okay, so Chris, how can SMEs deliver a better customer experience with new age automation tools?
So I think right now, as I'm sure you know, data is very, very important. It's super important for every company to not only collect data on the customers and how they're using their products, but also to know how to leverage that data for better decision making, right? So you have data science, data analytics, where you can analyze the data that you're collecting about your customers, about how they're using your product, about how the way they're using it, how frequently they use it, etc. So once you collect data about your customers' behaviors, you can then analyze this data to figure out how you can improve their product. So what are the new features that you can integrate? What are the pain points that your users are facing? So you can solve those. How you can basically streamline the process. So you mentioned automation, which is very important, because automation and customization, I would also add, these are two characteristics that AI and data allows us to integrate, right? So traditionally, before we had AI as a technology, companies used to build products like one size fits all, one product for all of the customers. But then you had now the ability to not only collect data, but to also customize and personalize the user's experience on your product. So take, for example, let's say any e-commerce website, right? They have these recommender systems, which are AI models that can learn your behavior, learn your preference in shopping, and can help recommend for you basically items to buy, or maybe things to they upsell you some products. And so this is one simple example of how a company can improve its product by leveraging the data it knows about users to give them a better experience for them.
Right. So, based on your experience, how should we understand the customer problems and the probable solutions to this technology?
In my experience, and based on again everything that I'm seeing, it's all back to the data, right? The analytics. So because everything is digital nowadays, it's easy to track what the users are doing. If you have a website, if you have a mobile application, and you have users coming into the website, browsing different pages, clicking on that button, or maybe looking at that section, you can track that. You can figure out that people are interested in that section, or people are using it in that way, right? They're these data points that you're collecting on your users are important because they give you a real-time view, a detailed view of how the users are using your product, and this allows you to make decision to make better decisions, right, based on data. And that's what the whole idea of data-driven decision making. So instead of making a decision about which color to put the as simple as the color of the button or the location of the button, you can do a simple A/B test where you try two different versions of that product, right? One with a blue button and one with a green button, for example, and then figure out what the users are attracted to the most. If they're going towards the blue button, then you would say, okay, then makes sense to make it blue. This is a very, very simple, basic example, but to take it and apply it to anything else, and you get a way to really understand your users and figure out how you can, appease them or make the product better to make them, happy and returning customers.
Right. So about this A/B testing, how can we could you give another example on how A/B testing and AI can be brought together to understand the customer problems and what's the solution and what are they most attracted to?
Yeah, sure. So as I said, like the idea of A/B testing is to test different versions of the same feature, for example, and then seeing where people go to the most. So for example, again, I'll take a very simple example and then I'll maybe try to make it a bit complicated. Imagine again, you have let's say the color of the button, right? So if I don't know which color is the best to use, I can create a website where the color of the button is blue, and then another version of the same website where the color is green. And then users coming in, I would split them. 50% of the users would be going to the blue button website, and then the rest of the others are going to the green button website. And then you can measure how many people are clicking on each button, right? And then you can easily say, okay, if 50% or let's say 70% of people going to the green button are clicking on the button versus 20% are clicking on the blue button, then you can say that obviously the green button is working. And this is a very simple A/B test example. But again, it doesn't just apply on the color of the button. It can also apply on the text itself, right? So a lot of websites now offer the option to customize the content of the website based on who is viewing the website. So if let's say I'm a software engineer, I'm a developer, and I'm opening this website that sells I don't know, a certain product, electronics product, let's say, right? They can change the text mentioned on the website to make it appealing more to people who are coming from a technical background, who are engineers or software developers, right? Versus let's say a mom, right? A person who is, let's say, 40 years old. She's a mom. There are some characteristics that make her different than let's say what I am. I'm a male, young, not married, single, whatever. So they can change the message of the product and make it look more appealing for, let's say, moms with kids and whatever, right? So this customization also happens by understanding who the user is. So they use a lot of analytics to cluster that user into a specific segment. So are we talking about a young person, an old person, a married single person? They have kids. What's their gender? What's their occupation? What are their hobbies? So these are the things that usually platforms allow you to let's say target in your ads, right? If you're putting ads on Google or Facebook or whatever, you can customize the user segment and who do you want to attract, and that's the same idea. And so it goes back to changing the way the website looks and the design, the content, the position of the different text or buttons. Everything can be changed, and then you measure, right? You send traffic this way and that way, and then you measure what works best, and that's how you can proceed. And by the way, Google does that a lot. So almost any feature that Google develops goes through an A/B testing process. I hope this answers your question.
Yeah, it surely answers my question. So, are there any other soundbites you'd like to share with our audience?
I just like to say one thing that I always mention wherever I go, specifically related to AI. I see this a lot, that people think that AI is a technical thing. So if I'm not into technical world, then it doesn't include me. And I'd like to say that it's not just for people who are engineers or computer scientists or studying a technical related field. I encourage everyone coming from basically any field to really understand what AI is, right? Even though AI is a technology, it's being applied across all sectors. You can find AI in healthcare, in agriculture, in marketing, in finance, in business, and you name it, right? In legal, whatever it is. And so even if you don't think that you're going to be working with AI, don't say that, okay, this is not for me, and I don't know what it is. It's scary. It's complicated. It's not. It's very simple. It's straightforward. You just have to spend some time to really understand what it is, because it is definitely being applied in your industry. Wherever you are, whenever whatever you work in, AI is being used one way or another. And I feel like it's important for you to understand what it is and how it's affecting your industry, so that you can really position yourself to take advantage of that wave of change, instead of being left behind and feeling like everything is automated. I'm going to be out of a job soon. How can I, because these are the fears that people have when it comes to AI as a technology.
Yeah,
Robots are
right.
taking over. I'm going to lose my job, which is not the case, right? Jobs are being changed, to utilize this AI in it. So if you don't know how it's happening, you're going to be left behind. So my message to everyone is educate yourself, learn what AI is, and learn how to benefit from it in your career.
Wow. Thank you so much, Chris, for sharing your valuable insights with us. Wow, it was really insightful. So, for more content, subscribe to Engati and tap the bell icon to access to exclusive content from top leaders from around the globe. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you with the new expert.